Thursday. And that'll be Polar Express and Charlie Brown Christmas. That'll be 2.5 hours. Parents can sign waivers, drop the kids off. So that was a big hit. Friends of Rec, we bought a projector and a screen and stuff. So I think we're gonna try to keep doing that once a month. As far as sports, basketball, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th graders are all playing, practicing right now. We're still working on the schedules. And the K1 and 2 have yet to start, but we've gathered all the kids up for that. So wrestling, cross country, cheerleading, Nordic, Alpine. Those other programs are being run by Clyburn, Level, etc. Those are available for Brownfield kids too. So that's about the gist of it.
Good.
Anyone have any questions? They can reach out to me or Brownfield Rec.
Perfect. Thank you. That's after we're talking. Animal control officer.
Yeah, Chuck Ball. I mean, they do 26 towns. So I mean, and nobody's adopted anything.
Wow.
Bunch of kittens, you gotta foster out to homes, and you've gotta bring them back in to get them back out, so. If the cat is not in dire strait to be captured, it's gonna stay out for a little while. So that's, had a call about, a breeding in another town. I had a dog that said it was found in Hiram, but it technically was a Brownfield dog that they wanted to give up. So I had to go down and get it re-surrendered again because they realized about what was happening. And let's see, and I found dog on Doug Way. We found the owner.
Okay.
So that's it.
Mike.
So today, specifically, I guess we had a call just a couple of months ago back for 646 Haleytown Road. That's where the resident lives that's concerned about the neighbor. So that's something we're gonna have to look at. I think they're, according to her, they run a generator all day, every day. They're living in a camper. There's no septic plan, there's no water going on there. The dogs are running free, and it's just they're concerned about their well. What they're doing with their waste, that kind of safety stuff, and that the dogs continue to come over to their property. I told them to call Cindy if there was an issue.
They haven't called.
Yeah, with the dogs, and she said they haven't called. She did say that.
Yeah.
She said we haven't called yet. They're trying to be neighborly about it. They tried to talk to them, but I'm not sure it's gonna go anywhere. The town may or may not have to get involved or look a little more into it. But that call came in tonight. Not to jump ahead, but I think Tom's after me, right? So he's on the agenda. And,
Yep.
and I mean, I'll just take the floor because I've got communication back and forth. So a little bit of what my history is. I used to be Rick Card's property, Tom's neighbor. And he sold it. And it was said he had sold it like just as I was coming in. It was one of those deals. But what I did notice in the file when he was getting ready to sell is there used to be a house out front. And Steve Sanborn had given him a year to tear that building down. They have under 2 acres, so they can't have 2 structures on one property, 2 dwellings. You need to have at least 3 acres for a minimum. So, in the long story short, you'll have the emails of Brenner Alvina has them anyway, and they're dated and timestamped, so the communication that I had with the current owners is Robin Leonard and Dave, I believe. So I just reached out to him. I said, look, the structure that's out front is unsafe, has been deemed unsafe, and it needs to be torn down. And that was per the previous code enforcement officer. They kind of wished and washed. They weren't going to do anything with it, and then it just kind of went dormant. They didn't tear it down. Nothing was going on. Tom has come in several times with the concern of the structure, and then that's when I reached out back on 11/28. I guess it really started, and I explained to them again. You can't have two structures there, it has to be torn down, it was something that was required from the previous code enforcement officer. It really is unsafe, I went and looked at it, the floor joists, they're broken, they're rotted, it's the roof, the whole thing is almost collapsing in. So I was under the understanding that they were going to take it down. Through the correspondence that we had, where the last thing that Robin said to me is that they want to do the right thing, and you know, they even had a builder come in from White Mountain, and he said to tear it down, because it's just, there's nothing there to save. And then Tom had come back, and again last week, I just stated that it looks like they're trying to fix it up. So I hadn't been down and actually looked at it yet, but I just wanted to jump ahead a little bit to give you the history of what I've going on between you know, the neighbor of Card's old place and Tom. And then that's it for me.
What's the second structure?
It was a house, so that it's
No,
actually
the structure out front.
was a house.
What are the people living in now?
They're living in a new house, so that was why Steve had them or required them to tear down the other house. Because you can't have two houses on 1 2-acre lot. You'd have to have a third acre.
So they're in violation.
They are in violation.
What you gonna do about it?
Well, again, if they weren't gonna do anything with, you know what I mean, and then it's just, you know, then their realtor told them they could fix it up, and it's all documented here, like I said, and then it's just me reiterating the same thing over, no, it can, it's gotta be torn down.
So what's the issues with septic and all that stuff?
Well, that was 646 Haley Town Road.
Oh, this is a different one?
Yep, yep.
Oh, all right, I'm sorry, yeah.
And that's actually the neighbor, we don't have an address for the neighbor next to Haley, 646 Haley Town Road, because according to the neighbor at 646, they're just kind of off grid out there doing their thing, and which I get, and she honestly says I feel bad because I'm assuming they're in a hard situation if they're living in that kind of, you know, situation. She's like, but it's really concerning at this point. I can check that out Friday, and I'll go by and then see, you know, what's going on, see what we can do to help them, or if there is anything we can do to help them. But that's really all I have today.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, Tom Williams, I'm the next door neighbor, 1334 Aquatic. I remember back when this Sanborn was in there, and the permit was issued to that particular lawsuit. And on the reverse of the permit, it had, in order to get an occupancy on the house that was being built, the other building had to be torn down or removed, and it never got done. We just left there and they're working on it now. I know there's construction going on there. I'm not looking to upset anybody, but I think the town didn't follow up because you had a change in people in charge at that particular point in time. And it's just something out there that it really should be done and removed. There's been people walking through an animal before this owner came in constantly, traffic people, you know, they're always looking to buy. And it was just a empty metal building. It goes back to the fire. It's one of the temporary metal building the Army Corps of Engineers put in. Was assembled by them here. Walter Opie was the original owner of all the property, did the subdivisions. Subject to the last one that just came off. That sold a little yellow log cabin next door and this metal building. That's some background. If you need any other information, I'm available.
Didn't I don't think it was Card though, before Card, was it, didn't the guy like try to redo that building, piney inside and stuff? I'm gonna say 15, 18 years ago. Yes.
Well, I think we've got to enforce the
Yeah, I think
violation.
Mike should do a cease and desist right away.
So it looks like the original permit, you guys passed around, but it looks like it was done at 2016.
Really?
Is what the date of it is. The building permit usually goes by the number and then the year.
But that's for the second structure.
That's for the one that needs to be torn down, not the garage. See, at the bottom of it, it says must remove the old house.
Right.
So I think that was
So if they're doing construction on the old house, there's no permit for that.
correct.
So I mean, we got to follow up on it.
Yeah.
In the correspondence that you'll see, John, that they even agreed that it was an eyesore, that they were gonna tear it down, and then so when he came in, I think it was last week or something, said they were working on it. I said, man, honestly, I would.
Well, we can try to ask.
This point.
Yeah, we can try to talk to them, make sure they're not trying to do this LB 23, whatever,
Yep.
thinking they can have 5 houses on.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Vinnie?
Yeah, last meeting, could everybody hear me? Sorry about that, no. Anyway, Deb Tate brought up about, what's the law regarding the amendment and why it was changed and everything else. So got me thinking about it and whatever, so before we talk about the amendment, first I'll talk about the article, because that's the starting point. So the article, both 6 and 7 say the same thing, only about 2 different officers, the town clerk and the treasurer. And it says to see if the town will vote to change the office of town clerk register or from a position that is elected by ballot to a position that is appointed by the Board of Selectmen and to become effective at a certain date. So that was the article. And then, of course, we went to town meeting, the article got amended. Now, at town meeting, the first thing that happens is the moderator says the state of Maine moderator's manual is what governs the meeting. All the moderator does is preside over the meeting. He goes by the book, which is the state moderator's manual, which also moderates the town committee meetings, selectmen's meeting and everything else. So in there's a paragraph on amendments. Now, the article, the scope of the article is it'll go from an elected position to appointed by the selectmen. That was the total concept and scope of the article and the purpose. It didn't mention any other people or anything in the original article, but then a town meeting got amended, which articles can get amended. So on the amendment, as for the moderator's manual, okay, there's a definition of amendments. A town meeting warrant is both a warning and a protection. The greeting is a warrant. It typically says to the constable or other person to whom it is addressed, you are required to notify and warn the inhabitants of the meeting. So that's how it goes on the warrant. Okay, then it says, if a warrant article asks for $100,000, and it says a voter who reads the warrant or the article and concludes that she or he is comfortable with any outcome under it should be able to go fishing on town meeting day in confidence that the warrant statement of the town meeting business has reasonable and fair outer limits. Concept of scope defines those limits. So it's the scope of the article that's effective. For warrant article asks for $100,000 from new taxes to rebuild the fire station annex, then the article cannot be amended to change the core subject matter from the fire station or an article annexed to an addition to a town library. On the other hand, the amendment could say that the annex will not be built within 3 miles. So there can be amendments to the article, but it can't change the scope and purpose of the article, which was from elected to appointed and appointed by the selectmen. And at the end, it also says, when it is difficult to discern whether an amendment goes too far, think of the hypothetical absent voter who went fishing and err on the side of caution. In other words, the side of caution would be what the article states. And the article states from elected to appointed by the selectmen. And, it could have been amended to say that the selectmen may get money out of a certain fund to get assistance in the appointment. Could say that the selectmen have to, if that appointment becomes vacant, should have to, notify prior applicants or something like that. But it doesn't say, it doesn't mean that more people can appoint the appointment, So does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Not at all. Okay, well, anyway, you have it for the lawyer. This is the book that governs it, the State of Maine Moderator's Manual. And it says exactly how an amendment can be done, in the scope, and, the purpose of it. So it can't go outside of the article. It can add to it, but it can't go outside of the article.
Right.
Well, the other thing is, that was brought up. Was asked about the lawyer. On this flyer. I guess this is a mass mailing. Yeah. Oh, here.
I didn't get one.
I think it was a mass mailing. I was here.
Oh, we did.
Well, that's where the,
You didn't get one?
You want to have one.
yeah, you know, that's your what.
Okay, at the bottom of the letter. It says this client group includes but is not limited to the list of people. I would formally request the selectmen to find out who the other people in the group is. Because my concern is that, there might be outside interests. That, there's a gravel pit on 113, he might have an interest in what goes on. Also, if someone has a retainer with this lawyer that is in the group that's not listed. So I would like to know who the total client list is. And if I would like, the Freedom of Access Information Act, if you can get your lawyer to ask for it to the lawyer.
Our lawyer has this, right?
Yes.
All like that.
Bruce?
I just wanted to say that not all warrant articles can be amended. For example, ordinances may not be amended. So there are certain criteria for warrant articles where you cannot amend, period.
Yeah.
With that question being asked, does that include Articles 6 and 7? I don't think so.
We don't know.
What's on top of that?
Right, it's not an ordinance, so I don't think.
Case law and statutes on the situation with the 2 articles.
Mhm.
So I got the attorney's complete letter.
Mhm.
It's a very good letter, and I'm sure Zach reviewed it with you. I'm sure he did.
We've not done so.
Yeah.
He's on vacation.
No, at the time when you got it, you must have said it. Because it was sent to him. Because Steve Wagner and Zach did speak before the letter went out.
Wasn't
I'm
that
sure
an
he
executive session?
advised it's coming.
I remember.
Oh, that might have been executive.
Yeah.
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 We have the information, no. No, it was the implementation. Wasn't it?
Informational meeting.
The informational meeting. So getting back to Article 6 and 7. It was amended
Yeah,
to include a hiring.
Mhm.
That passed. Unless someone has the numbers of those votes. That passed. So by doing the referendum we had in November. It got defeated. So it doesn't go back to it being elected. It goes back to the amended because the actual question got defeated or lost. So if you have numbers, tell me the numbers. And if it's a close call, then I say that we get a special meeting and have a special town meeting for a vote.
Is it okay if I comment?
Sure.
Yeah, well, the amendment says that. To see if the town will vote to authorize forming. Besides the front of it, about the change and everything. To see if the town will vote to authorize forming a hiring committee. Consisting of 3 select board members and 4 citizens. Elected at large and all having a vote of equal weight. Okay, and choosing the most qualified candidate.
Correct.
So by electing 4 people, okay. With equal weight of the same vote of 3 people, you're superseding the authority of the selectmen of the original article to appoint who the applicant is.
No, no,
Of course you are, you're,
I just,
Working, right.
it says 4 citizens elected at large having a vote of equal weight. So those 4 people can all have the same vote. The selectmen have 3 votes. They will be outnumbered in
no,
electing him.
no, it doesn't work.
That's what it says.
Now we can read the amendment again.
People that are going to be on the hiring
Yeah,
are going to take out nomination papers. They have to have some business background.
the people on the hiring committee.
Yes,
This is all.
Yeah,
it's up
see,
to
Yes,
the
they
bureaucracy.
they
Yeah, they
put a
need to be
switch
elected.
for a position. They need to know what they need to look for.
Right, but,
And,
I'm sorry.
you know, I mean, it's like a headhunter. I mean, they'll go out and find it.
Right, it says here,
The contest where they hire whoever they want.
All right, you two, hold on, Bruce,
okay, good.
It is my understanding, and I was on.
And here's what the was.
That an ordinance is anytime you tell somebody what they can and cannot do. It is not like budgetary things, that's not an ordinance. An ordinance is defined as any time you tell somebody what they can and cannot do.
Correct, but these are articles. These are
They're
not.
telling the elected people what they're gonna do.
Chad,
So,
The only thing I wanna say to these 2 articles, the 4 people that they wanted to elect as the hiring committee. Are going to pick the ones, not pick the ones, they're gonna pick the best applicants to present to the selectmen. The selectmen have the final say, but they're gonna pick the best. To present to you guys, to look for the positions that you're looking at.
No,
hopefully.
the committee will, in as a group.
Okay, committee as a group, either way, he keeps saying they're gonna be outnumbered. If 2 of the selectmen vote with 3 of the hiring committee, then you got 1 selectman that didn't want it and 1 committee person that didn't want it. So it's gonna be an even vote.
Yep,
so getting back to what I was started with Article 7. At that time at town meeting, the amendment. I guess I'll call 1, because we don't have the numbers of who voted. We don't know if it was 50 to 100, 20 to 50, we have no idea. The moderator called it, right? Is that my understanding? And if he sees it that way, that's the vote. We don't have numbers, right? So following that town meeting in June, the town clerk should have set up a special meeting, special election, and have nomination papers available for those who wanted to be on this committee. People have come in, and she declined them nomination papers. Looking into it further, none of the nomination papers were available. The town clerk was required to do this, period. She's elected. That's her job. Board of Selectmen have no say and cannot interfere with the elections, and especially have no authority to overturn any election. And the town clerk allowed it. Town clerk broke the statutory requirement in Article 67. That's one point I have. The other point I have, if you read Steve's letter, MMA did not say that the articles failed or are defective. The town attorney was asked whether the articles failed. The town attorney correctly advised that the articles were legally valid until a court rules otherwise. And therefore, the select board must follow him. He advised the perceived risks of the articles, could be addressed through a subsequent town meeting vote on the same subject, not secret ballot. So, you know, you can be forced to death. We can, if you want to, but it's gonna go through the court system. A judge will make that decision. And I'm telling you right now, based on the votes at town meeting, that one.
Well, it's putting the vote in the moderator. He said, I think he said on amendments. Amendments to pass require 60% of the vote.
No one challenged it.
That's what I'm saying.
That night,
And he didn't,
no one
so we don't really know if it met the 60%. And I'm not saying it should change it. I'm just saying that's another thing to look at. We really don't know if 60% of the vote carried it. Because it was never counted. Should have been on a ballot. And nobody challenged it. The moderator should have put it on a ballot. He did it as a guesstimate. He said, it looks like this and that. So, and I'm not saying that should change the vote.
I
I'm just
don't
saying it's
recall
another
it.
point of information.
Well, you know, the thing is, something's gotta be done about this.
Bruce,
Now,
maybe some-
and ask for nomination papers, and one person put it in print in an email. And I'm like, why was that even responded to? Because she flat out said no.
Well, there was a referendum vote that nullified everything.
The thing-
So I mean, she wasn't.
No. Bickering back and forth is done.
That's
Bruce,
yeah.
Bruce,
I just wanted to say that I asked the lawyer if it was legal to change an elected position to an appointed position without a public hearing. The lawyer said it was problematic. He never said it was legal, he never said it was illegal. But he said it was problematic because it would lead to litigation. And
Yes,
litigation is what's gonna break this town.
yes.
And it's gonna, that's why if it was legal, it couldn't be contested through litigation. That's why I asked that question.
Yeah.
If you look up the word legal, it has pertaining to law.
I've got a suggestion. I've got a suggestion.
Go ahead.
Why don't we have a public meeting and invite Zach?
we'll get our answer from Zach before we.
We're still getting clarification.
That's what.
We put a lot of things up.
He'll clear it up.
We heard from.
He'll clear it up.
Yeah, we'll get that.
That's all I'm asking.
He's on vacation.
Bruce,
Each
sit down now, we're all set.
The community is clearly saying what they can and cannot do. That's why I'm asking about the legality of it.
Yeah, we will ask that question.
Into the ordinance category.
Yeah, we will ask that question.
And also on that formal request I made about
Yeah,
Freedom of Access Act, yeah. On the complete list of clients. Okay, that's it. Okay.
Dick,
I would like to see, I don't know how to do it, but this is why we need to have minutes at town meetings. We do minutes at these meetings, but we don't do them at town meeting. We don't record town meeting. So I would like some instruction on how we make that happen. So in the future, we don't have this problem. Because I recall the moderator in the middle of that whole thing, making a comment about the changing the scope and not being sure and whatever, but we have no proof of that. So, I mean, let's subpoena the guy and see if he was willing to come and talk in court about what he said in that meeting and about his concerns. That's what I suggest.
Terry,
First of all, as far as legality, anything could be challenged in court. Anything can be litigated, so let's not think this is unusual. What happened at town meeting was the legislative bodies voting on the articles, as they did on all the articles that were in the town warrant. So we can't just pick out the two that we're not happy with and say, we're gonna ignore that and do something different with the referendum, we're gonna rewrite it without any public input, without any public hearings about what went into that. The only fair thing to do would be to revisit this as a town, as residents who care about this, revisit it at a public meeting, let's talk it through, see what the town wants, rather than ignore what the voters voted on at town meeting and ignore what they voted on at the referendum, which was overwhelmingly against how those articles were rewritten. To me, that's the only fair way to do it.
could I ask a question about the town meeting? When BJ talked about minutes. The results of town meeting are the minutes. Right, and isn't that recorded? That is good. Yeah.
They are.
So
I
there
mean,
are
like,
minutes.
video
Talking about audio recording or a video recording. She's not talking about somebody.
Not talking about
recording the-
record.
Whoa.
This is-
yeah,
This is.
All right, we kind of beat this around as much as we can. We're gonna wait for the lawyer to answer our questions. And then we'll go from there. We'll go from there. All right,
Will everybody be able to ask the lawyer questions?
we'll ask him how he
We're
wants.
gonna wait. and see
Yeah,
if we
we'll-
get that far.
All right,
Yeah, just.
that's what we're gonna do. All right,
We're pretty much cut and dried anyway.
Frank, you got some curb funds?
Okay, went over them.
Oh, it's okay. No.
What's not getting,
Now,
What,
should have the list.
it's the same, on the same front thing?
Yes, it is.
Well, we already ended it. We beat the thing around. Everybody made the same statement.
This is slightly different.
All right, wait, go ahead.
I'm not going back, but do you know what you're going to ask the lawyer?
It's already been asked and written. It's what Deb Tate wanted.
Yeah,
Which is what?
Verbatim.
is it legal? We're gonna,
The scope of law.
And invite Zach, so he can hear from everybody.
We're gonna wait. We did everything according.
all right,
We're done.
see,
Tell me,
all right, we're,
No, I'm asking, you said you're gonna wait for Zach to clear things up, so what?
he's already been asked the questions. We don't have them in front of us. It's all the questions that she asked us,
Question.
the same questions that she asked us, we sent to him. But he's on vacation, so we won't get an answer until, I think, the end of next week at the earliest.
At the earliest, the end of May.
Okay.
And those will be read verbatim, questions and answered.
If we have a meeting, yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna bring something else up before you get into that.
I just want to thank the
No.
fire departments for the job they did on Denver
Oh,
Road.
yeah,
And all
yeah.
the departments,
They
and
did a good job.
all the departments that helped them too.
Yeah, they did a good job.
They all drove by my house at 2:30 in the morning. I was glad I wasn't out there, so. Everybody that was out there.
The comp plan hasn't asked for any money at town meetings. So anything that has to come out of, that they're gonna. Request will have to come from. The planning board budget. And that's what the planning board, how they're gonna spend. Their money. Because the planning board in the. Ordinance, it's through the planning board, the comp plan is through the,
No,
They took authority and everything. Let's clarify with the attorney.
yeah, okay, so that's what we understood.
Yeah.
to the meeting, comp plan had with the Board of Selectmen, and we talked about budget, and we have minutes for that meeting. At that time, we said to you, should we submit a budget for the comp plan? And you said, about what would it be? And we said under $1,000. That time you said, no need for a separate budget, we'll take that out of administrative costs.
That paperwork is 3,000.
Okay, and there's 3,000 spent already.
Some of the things in there should not have been charged to the comp plan. We were told as the committee that we would be on the town Survey Monkey license. We would be on the town's Zoom license. Why would they be charged to the comprehensive plan? We were never told that. So that's your mistake.
It's been all my time, so I don't know what was.
Yeah, we'll have to find out that.
Guess they need to be
But
audited.
they said 1,000, so that's a little stop, I guess.
Can I just say, this year, when I was chairman of the budget committee, I attended one of the comprehensive plan committee meetings. And I asked if they were gonna be submitting a budget, and it was mostly that. I was told it's not that relevant, because it's not that much, and it's not that much money, so. That's what I was told.
We were told by the select,
No, I was told that by people with the comprehensive plan.
because that's what the comprehensive plan committee was told by the select.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but I'm just saying, that's what I was told, so.
Yeah.
They said it wasn't that much money, so.
Okay.
this is all the same thing.
All the same thing? Yeah.
You may have seen it all.
Yeah, I think we have.
Let me just go through it real quick.
Well, we have to do this one. You have to do this one.
Oh, we have to make most.
Yeah. I am this one.
On this one, I
Yeah.
hear this.
Yeah.
Went to same policy.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we accept this policy.
Seconded,
All in favor? Yeah.
that was easy.
You people want me to read it to you? I mean, it's a winter sand policy. It's basically the same thing as it was before, just clarifying it.
Yeah.
Get a lot of-
That's a question that was asked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're already done with that.
Will be on the web.
I'll read this. The planning board will be conducting a site walk for Timber Creek Kennel that can be found on tax map R5 lot 6 on Tuesday, December 5th. Anybody, all members it says, and anyone interested in attending the site walk will meet at the town office at 5:45. And then will be a meeting immediately following the site walk at the town office. This conference room, maybe. The next regular scheduled planning board meeting will take place on December 5th at 7.
Frank, is that 5:45 PM? So that,
We'll be back at 5:45 AM too.
It should be. It'll be dark on either end.
Already had to do 1 6 o'clock meeting, I'm not doing 2 of them.
I don't know who did the time.
Planning board, I'd assume.
You have to talk to them.
It was early.
Any time keeps people in the dark.
Well, there's nothing to see, there's nothing not.
I think that's it.
Okay.
Pretty much gone over everything.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
She said, call me McNeil.
People to sign.
Yeah, anybody who didn't sign in? You want to sign in?
I've got you, Joe.
Okay,
Make a motion to adjourn.
No public comment?
you want a public comment? On, there's nothing else on our agenda. So that was, yeah.
Wes and Pat was gonna, no, okay.
So just,
Yeah.
will there be a notification when the lawyer is gonna be here with, and everything else?
But when we find out, yeah.
Yeah, when you find out.
A week or so.
Everybody be notified.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I know, everything we've done is, so all of this stuff is being created.
We just wait and see, that's all we can do, you know. No reason to argue over it all the time, you know,
No,
not worth. Actually, Pat, you got something too, you wanted to. I'm good, I think we need. You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Like to give them just a little food for thought.
Yeah.
I've been in this office 32 years. Every time I turn around, somebody's putting an article on the warrant to change the positions. Time after time after time, it's been voted down. So what part of no don't you guys understand?
It was voted yes this time, Wanda, just so you know.
Well, it was voted no at the referendum also.
No.
Now they changed
Yes,
it.
it was. No, you guys changed,
That's one,
you guys
that's,
changed the meaning of the article.
all right.
Procedure.
Done, you second? All in favor? Done, we're not gonna argue. We're not here to argue.
We didn't change.
No, yeah,